fourth event in this month, the whole nutritional month, where we are trying to highlight what nutraceuticals can do. We've had some interesting and very informative, I don't know what to call them now, webinars or talk shows or panel discussion or whatever it is. It's very healthy discussions on the issues and the opportunities in the nutraceutical industry. Today, we'll talk a little more about how to reimagine the whole nutraceutical business, especially in line of the ingredient, with an ingredient focus. So just like the API, the ANI, as we call them, the advanced nutraceutical ingredients. And we have a scintillating panel today, and I hope we have an excellent discussion. Before I start the panel and hand over to the moderator, I'd like to invite Amit Srivastawa, who's the shall we say the soul of Nutrify India, who's done so much, and he put so much passion and inspiration into it, and he will tell us a little bit about what progress we've made since last week. Amit, over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Balkumar, and thank you very much for everyone who's here today at the event. And you know, the genesis of Nutrify India is on certain principles. You know, for any industry to actually evolve as a leader, it requires a 360-degree support, right from research, financing, education, policies from government, infrastructure, market access assistance. So it's quite a large list. Nutrify India is an initiative to enable and empower nutraceutical industry by serving the ecosystem. We started by serving startups and shaping them to evolve into successful ventures. And we have been lucky to deliver nutraceutical commercialization deals at around $8 million in last 8 months. So that's like almost $1 million per month. I sincerely thank all large players in the industry to be very supportive of Nutrify India, due to which these startups have actually flourished. Going ahead, in Nutra month, we actually went ahead and signed up with some key leaders in the country, which actually helps the industry very much. To begin with, early on 5th of September, we signed up with CCMB Hyderabad, which is Center for Molecular Biology. And the objective is to allow the nutraceutical startups in the country to get screened through Nutrify India and access into the world-class research lab of CCMB. And as I'm talking, we have already impaneled 2 startups in the country who are working on amazing projects. And as they materialize, hoping very soon, that would bring a lot of pride to the country, because creating intellectual property rights. We also signed up with National Research Development Corporation of India to enable startups to raise grants and also assist them in tech transfer. Now today, being last session of 4 events that held, of the 4 events that's planned out for this event, I'm very happy to share 3 important agreements that Nutrify India has signed up. And the first is we've signed up with ANMI. It's Association of Herbal and Nutritional Manufacturers of India. This is an initiative taken by Mr. Sanjay Mariwala of OmniActive. This is a Section 8 company, and that is serving the medicinal and nutritional plant growers, small to mid-size extraction units, formulators, the entire ecosystem. In this system, this association will allow small to mid-size Nutra companies access length and breadth of offerings of Nutrify India and ANMI. While Nutrify India is focused more towards enabling business and market access, ANMI complements the same. At the same time, has an edge which benefits everyone. ANMI has the power to represent to the government and helping in shaping policies. And of course, that helps all stakeholders of Nutra ecosystem. In coming years, there will be need for specialized professionals in this field of nutraceuticals as this industry grows in India. And keeping this in mind, we at Nutrify India have been prototyping in building capacity for the industry and have signed up with key universities who are committed to enable nutraceutical and wellness industry in India. Nutrify India is signing up with University to create industry academia networking bridge, create targeted business management courses focused for nutraceutical industry. So that's one of its kind. And of course, this is again one of its kind, Nutrify India Geetam Incubation Hub in Vizag, and then potentially we'll scale up it in other campuses like Hyderabad and Bangalore. So this incubation hub is dedicated to nutraceuticals. Currently, there are not dedicated nutraceutical incubation hub other than the one which has come up in Vizag in AMTZ. I would like to invite, although I don't know, invite or not invite, because everyone knows Dr. Balkumar, but Dr. Balkumar is actually the Director of Nutritionals and Wellness Department of Geetam University. I'd like to invite Dr. Balkumar to say a few words on this association, and then probably we'll move ahead. Dr. Balkumar, please.
Yeah, thanks, Amit. As Amit mentioned, we're really pleased that we have this association with Nutrify India. I head the Center for Health and Wellness Innovation, so essentially through foods. And I think the message or the objective there is to look at holistic health or responsible nutrition as a means. And we all know that providing responsible nutrition is the byline of Nutrify India. So it's a very natural kind of partnership, and we are going to be looking at and Geetam has ambitions to become very big in research, education, and technology, because that's the way we feel that we should raise our game so that we are in the top 100 universities by 2040. So it's a very ambitious plan, and the areas where we want to work in are. One is, of course, business networking, so trying to bring innovations and entrepreneurs to the business and make sure that we build a bridge to help them bring really important breakthroughs to the market in the area of health and wellness. Second, and very important, of course, is on education, because we want to build something like continuous education or professional development courses, diplomas, certificates, what have you, for professionals, as well as curriculum in nutrition and wellness. So if you have any needs that you need to be fulfilled, say in management or nutrition management, or in other specific and very specialized technical areas of nutrition and health, please do contact me, because then we can work on these kinds of things. Third is, of course, trying to build a knowledge base so that we can advocate and lobby in terms of what are the requirements for the whole industry, whole domain of health and wellness. And fourth is, we want to not just talk the talk, but also walk the talk, and that is about providing technical and other consultancies through experts who we network with in the health and nutrition domain, whether it is actually developing nutritional product, whether it is the claims, whether it is even food safety. When you're talking of setting up systems, those are the kinds of things we will do. So we're excited about this, and more news will come as we move along. And I invite you to contact us whenever there is, or Amit, of course, to whenever there's a need for any help. So after that little pitch, moving on.
So there's one more announcement, then
Yeah, back to Amit.
So very important, so while the focus with Geetam is on one area, another area we found need is to orient pharmaceutical course towards nutraceutical. And in this journey, it gives me pleasure to announce that Nutrify India has actually signed up with Centurion University to set up specialized subjects in nutraceuticals in final semester of phytopharmaceutical course. In addition to this, Nutrify India and Centurion University have allocated funds to award stipend to most deserving bright students in phytopharma who choose their final year specialization in nutraceutical. We'll sponsor through stipend and assign them the projects, final year projects, which is more relevant to the industry. So with this, of course, I'd like to quickly invite Registrar of Centurion University also to share a few words.
Yeah, good evening to all the members, panelist members present here, and good evening to Amit ji, who is invited for this panel talk on Think Nutra. And I'm very much glad that I have this platform to tell that we are also partnering with Nutrify India for the program. as Amitji has just now said that we know all of us know about the nutraceutical importance. Of course, very much important in this COVID times. The importance has always risen. It was always there, and it has now boosted up further. Now, nutraceutical being the sunrise industry, we would be very happy, and we are taking a lead. I'm happy that we are taking a lead along with Nutrify India to build the capacity of our graduates who are most deserving from the phytopharmaceutical background and the pharmaceutical background. And they will be in the final year, they will be going through a course which will build their capacity in this nutraceutical area. And this way, I think we will be able to, the new students will be able to understand the principles of pharmaceuticals, phytopharmaceuticals, and will be outcome oriented towards this nutraceutical industry, which is coming up. And we are also excited not only to partner, we are also coming up with the course curriculum along with Nutrify India. And the other part that Amitji just now announced, we are also going to be, there will be opportunity for students to get stipend in this program that we are going to announce. And about Centurion University, it's in the it's a skill-based industry, or you can say a skill integrated into higher education. That is our USP. We are able to integrate skills into higher education. It's a university which is there from 2010, and we are happy that it was one of the youngest university to get NAC A grade in 2015 itself. And we are into different schools of learning. That is, we have the engineering, apart from management, apart from applied sciences. Yes, one important school that we have is the agriculture and bioengineering, where we have this 4-year degree course in B.Tech Phytopharmaceutical, where we are targeting the students. Of course, in the pharmaceutical also, we are going to get the students who will be oriented towards nutraceuticals. And mostly our students are working in the domain of immunoboosters or probiotic, prebiotic, and medicinal plant extracts. And I think Nutrify India with them, when we are having this partnership, this will be really a great opportunity for our students to go to this industry and explore further. And it gives us a bigger platform, of course, for the students to go up and to the university. So thank you. And we are very happy, Amitji, to partner with Nutrify India for this course.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So going ahead, at Nutrify India, we envision, because based on our success that we have seen for the last 8 months, we envision to contribute at least $130 million to the economy by 2023 by creating new business opportunities in nutraceutical space of India. And we are continuously working along with partners. Thanks to the industry again for being very supportive. Those who want to be part of Nutrify India initiatives can write to us at nutrifyindia.com/COE, or if it's hard to remember, then nutrifymenow.com. Just click there, you will get into registration. I would like to invite Mr. Ashish Sawant from OmniActive, because he, while conversation with him, they have taken a lot of initiative in responsible nutrition and backward integration that helps the entire value chain, and just wanted him to share the key values of responsible nutrition initiatives that OmniActive has been taking. Ashish, please.
Yeah, sure, Amit. Hope you can hear me well.
Yes.
Okay, let me share the presentation. Let me know if you can see the slides that I've started. Share.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. So before I begin and introduce all of you to the OmniActive and what we have been doing, let me first introduce myself. So my name is Ashish Sawant. I lead the supply chain at OmniActive. Been with OmniActive for last 3.5 years and having total 16 years of experience in supply chain across various industries. So that's in brief about me. So let me talk about, what OmniActive is. So OmniActive is essentially delivering innovative and trend-setting health solutions, and particularly in the dietary supplement as well as functional and food and beverage industry. So our customer base is not only in the nutritional space, but also there are customers in the pharma, food as well as beverage industries who are buying our products. To talk about our history, it goes back to the 19th century, 1857. So OmniActive is a part of Mariwala family, who is a very well-known family in the Indian business world. So it goes back to 1857 when the family started the trade spices, and over a period of year they have ventured into various businesses. So oil is predominantly, which was in the 20th century, the Bombay oil industries in Kerala, you may be well aware of. And with that, it started Cancor, and Cancor got into the international venture with McCormick, USA, and reacquired its share in the 1996. So with this journey from spice to oil and then the extraction of the spices, particularly for the food and flavor applications. In 2004, our managing director, Mr. Sanjay Mariwala, he founded OmniActive Health Technologies with the focus on the nutritional business. And we started with lutein as a product, which is a carotenoid that is for eye health care. So that's the time in 2004 when the OmniActive essentially started. And over a period of time, we grown across the globe. We started with America, then we have expanded our scope to Europe as well as Asia region as well. And in 2017, OmniActive acquired Intrag, which is in the space of ingredient and the botanical extracts. So that's the time when OmniActive further expanded its portfolio beyond what it was earlier. So, as I mentioned, we have presence in the North America predominantly, but beyond that, we have expanded to the Europe as well as the Asia operations. We have obtained world-class accreditations and certificates with regards to food safety and GMP practices. So our plants are certified with FSSC 20000 GMP. HACCP. We have a manufacturing units at Pune, Thane, and at Hosur, and we have production facilities at Hosur, Pune, and Supa location. Supa is in the Ahmednagar. So that's where our operations are spread out predominantly in the central India and in the South India. To talk briefly about our product portfolio, we have two divisions. So one is a nutritional innovation and solution division, which has these branded ingredients. And if you can see here on the screen, we have presence primarily into 5 categories here. First is active wellness and physical performance, which has curcumin and ultrasol, which are essentially the turmeric extract formulations as part of that portfolio. Then our key category is the vision, cognition, and mental wellness here, where Lutamax is our brand name and Omnizan. So Lutamax is nothing but the lutein molecule that comes from the marigold flower, and Omnizan is essentially the arazeaxanthin molecule that comes from the paprika variety. Then in the metabolic health and weight wellness, we have capsicum extract formulation and Metavi, which is essentially the extract of the Salacia. Then there's a daily energy and productivity performance, which have caffeine-based products like XT Energy and Extra. And we have in the digestion and immunity space gingerber, which is essentially from the ginger extract. So these are These are broadly our products, in the nutritional innovation and solutions. Beyond that, the special botanical extract portfolio that I was mentioning earlier, has many ingredients, primarily derived from the Ayurveda and some of the international hub availables as well, where we extract the active molecules from the raw material and then split to our customers. So there is a broad portfolio when it comes to those herbs and plant actives, which are used highly in the nutritional space. Yeah, you can see the name. It's pretty broad portfolio we have. Now, talking primarily about the our key product line, which is the lutein product. Lutein, this is a value chain of the lutein extraction process, which is mentioned here. It starts with the seeds when we cultivate that lutein, with the contract farming model, and our agri operations are spread across the Karnataka, north as well as south Karnataka, where we buy the flowers from the farmers in the contract farming model, and then those are processed further during the dehydration, then the extraction oleoresin stage, and finally we get the concentrate, which is used in the formulation. So we have predominantly two formulation forms. One is the oil suspension, and the other is the bidlets. So bidlets is nothing but the pellets, which is used in the the technology which is used in the pharma space. So we make sure that while working with the farmers, we have a complete traceability and a quality control in terms of the use of nutrition, which is used by the farmers. At the same time, at every stage, making sure that we control the quality, and at the same time get the right specification product, with respect to what we claim. So with regards to the contract farming, you can see here our operations are spread largely in this state of Karnataka. We have little presence in the Madhya Pradesh and the northeast regions as well. So we've worked with 8,000 farmers in the state of Karnataka. Total area under acreage, total acreage under cultivation is 7,900. And we provide the seeds to the farmers with the guarantee that we'll buy back the flowers and at a fixed price. And we make sure that we help the community by guaranteeing that income to the farmers. And also, the practices which are used in the agricultural space, we make sure that the right amount of fertilizers, pesticides are being used to ensure the safety and the environmental protection. So we have a stringent quality control there in the farm practices to make sure that we take care of the nature while we get the value out of it. So that's the key focus. So here are certain pictures from the fields, and here you can see the flowers which are close to the harvest. So the season of marigold cultivation, the sowing starts in the month of April, May, and the harvest is generally during July to September time. So this is the time when the harvest generally happens. Yeah, here on the left side, you can see our leadership team, Mr. Sanjay Mariwala, Chaitanya Desai, and with our agri operations team and the farmers. Yeah, we also conduct farmer training programs to make sure that the practices are uniform. At the same time, it is in compliance with the quality standards and the good agricultural practices. So that training program is designed and is been given to farmer every year. And as we get new farmer on board, we make sure that they comply with the norms that we have defined. So we have quite rigorous training program designed for that. Then around 5 years ago, we have also started paprika cultivation, predominantly in the North Karnataka and some parts of Andhra. Paprika is a variety called Capsicum annum, which is used in the Ararsia molecule, again the carotenoid. So that's been something we have scaled up over a period of years to ensure that vertical integration in that range of products. So while we do the farming, the more important is to get the control on the seed development. So we have our seed research and development unit in near Bangalore in Karnataka, where we are developing seeds and hybrid seeds, particularly in the marigold, to make sure that we get the desired yield, and also the seeds are giving a crop which can protect itself from any diseases or any adverse weather conditions. So that's been the whole objective of having a seed R&D, to make sure that we secure our supplies and at the same time get the right quality of the crop. So this slide talks about what our seed R&D capabilities are in brief. So yeah, we have net houses, we have poly houses, and labs at the seed R&D, which is located near Bangalore. Yeah, so next is our B2c subsidiaries. So in the last 3-4 years, we have started B2c subsidiaries, particularly in India. So there is a digital brand called Setu, which is being launched, and then Omni Wellness, which is more in the doctor prescription channel. The Omni Wellness and nutrition products, and the range of products are similar, like curcumin, lutein, ginger. So that's pretty much same range here as well. And under corporate social and environmental responsibility, since our key line of products is a lutein, which is in the eye health care, we have extended some social and the community initiatives in that space. While we work with the farmers, it's important to take care of them. So we have conducted eye camps and consultations, free consultations for the farmers, those who have eye problems, and as a community service, and provided them with appropriate care or glasses and any aid that they need in terms of taking their care of the health. So also some of the nutrition-based activities have been initiated in the state of Karnataka, and particularly the women empowerment with the focus on the safety and hygiene and the sanitation. Those initiatives have been also launched over the last 3-4 years, and we are scaling up that year on year. So to make sure that while we take help of the society and the nature, we give it back to them. So these are the last couple of slides where we have mentioned the names of our executive team. So our global CEO, Mr. Jim Hamilton, he came on board earlier this financial year, and the rest of the members are part of our executive councils. And you can see the names here. The Jim Hamilton is based out of our New Jersey office, where our front-end sales team is based at. And our marketing team is also based out of the New Jersey office. Yeah, and here is the slide about our board of directors. So Mr. Sanjay Mariwala is our board of director, and with the rest of the members on the board. And our board of directors, you can see it's pretty diverse here from various industry and the domains, to make sure that we have a strong corporate governance with regards to the corporate practices. So it's our board of directors. Yeah, with this, so I'm here to talk about and introduce about the company. I will hand over to our managing director, Mr. Sanjay Mariwala, for the further discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ashish, and over to Dr. Balkumar to set the stage for the program to begin.
Thank you, Amit and Ashish. So, I'm really pleased to extend a very warm welcome to Dr. R.B. Smarta, who is our moderator for today. Dr. Smarta is the chairman and managing director of Interlink Consulting, which is a management and marketing consulting in the nutraceutical, pharmaceutical, and wellness domain. So a very unique niche, if I may say, in the consulting field, because there are very few people who are in that area. He brings a lot of experience, more than 4 decades of experience in the field, and 3 decades of experience as a consultant. So he has this really nice blend of advisory, versus implementation activities. So it's excellent to see that, and he has helped a lot. He has nurtured a lot of companies, right from startups to multinationals, in building their systems, helping them build businesses in the whole nutraceutical domain. He's also the vice president of the herbal foods and let me see what that HARTSA, the Health Foods and Dietary Supplements Association. My apologies. Although the acronym HARTSA might mean something different to Hindi-speaking people, but it's the trade association uh, that lobbies for in the area of health foods and dietary supplements. I'm really pleased that Dr. Smarta is here with his wealth of knowledge and experience. He will be the right person certainly to extract the best information and knowledge out of our panel here today. And I will now hand it over to him to introduce the panel and start the discussion. Dr. Smarta.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Balakumar. Thank you very much. I think it's my pleasure and to address all of those who are really listening to this webinar from India as well as from abroad. We have good members who are locked in here. And it's really fortunate, it's a good omen today. Today is a World Pharmacy Day. And India is known as the best pharmacy in the world. And considering that also we are part of that kind of legacy. On one hand, Ayurveda is a legacy. On the other hand, we have pharmacy as a legacy. So I think these are the quite substantial ages we have in terms of really looking at world and world market. So it's really my pleasure to really be with you all. And I've been always lucky or fortunate to have a best panel. Whenever I'm moderator, I have a best panel. And today also, I have the best panel. You will name them, you will find them. I think we have today economists on one hand, we have today business owners, founders, we also regulators, management experts. We also have people from the industry who have grown, and believe me, all of them are excellent and successful individuals. I think that's where I call this particular unique gathering. And what Dr. Balakumar was saying, what do I say to this entire gathering or to enter this forum? I would say, gather the pearls of wisdom. And this is a time where we really gather the pearls of wisdom from these all people, those who have really got into this particular panel. And I'm so happy to really be with them today, maybe 45 minutes or so that we can really get maximum from them. How are we going to reimagine India in terms of herbal and nutraceutical ingredients? Because that's very crucial for us, because on one hand, we have heritage. On the other hand, we have a pharmacy. So I think there's a good combination we have. So I think I would like to request now each one of our panelists to introduce themselves, because very many things can be told to everybody. So I would start with Mr. Mariwala, if you can really introduce quickly for yourself. Then we start with the, let's say, next one and next one. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Smarta. It's a pleasure to be here and to speak to all of you. I believe that this is a very interesting opportunity for all of us in India to look at what India can do in reimagining its position in the space of nutraceuticals. I believe there's a lot of opportunity, and we have many things to talk about today. There are great changes that are occurring around the world that are important for our industry. It's important for us to recognize that players in the industry, B, the vendors to the industry, and C, the support systems that support the industry, both from the government as well as from the other sectors, can play a very significant role in shaping and creating a capability in India, which can be very similar, if not better, than the pharmaceutical industry that we have created, and become the. If we think pharmacy, we think India. We should think nutraceuticals. We should think India. I believe that's what we are here to do, and that's what we should talk about today.
Thank you, Mr. Mariwala. I would welcome now Mr. Dheeraj Talreja.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Smarta. And firstly, congratulations to Amit and Nutrify team for announcing few more collaboration and wish more and more to come in future with that. Let me give you a quick introduction about myself. I am Dheeraj Talreja, serving as the president for South Asia for AAK. And AAK is a Swedish-Danish multinational with 140-year-old experience with that. At the same time, I also lead Asia strategy for plant-based food. I have 20 plus year of experience spanning across sales, marketing, business development, corporate strategy across Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. And personally, I'm really passionate about plant-based food, alternative protein, and nutraceutical or Nutra segment as with this one, and happy to be a part of this panel and looking forward for engaging session as we go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Dheeraj. Mr. Venkatesh.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thanks for giving me a chance to join into this event. Thanks, Amit. Again, congratulations for all your achievements with Nutrify India. What you've been hearing and been really spearheading a pioneering effort to bring this industry out into light. As far as myself is concerned, my name is Venkatesh. I'm the managing director and founder of Genpro Group. I have over 3.5 decades experience in the healthcare industry, starting from pharmaceuticals. Chemist by qualification, been in R&D, quality control, and then moved to the business side. Worked in the pharmaceutical industry till the 90s, and then started Genpro in 99. We are still both a pharmaceutical and nutraceutical company. We do a lot of pharmaceutical work. We own pharmaceutical factories in different places. So what I aim to do is that I saw an opportunity to bring the pharmaceutical approach into nutraceutical business and present it to the world in a way that they will be able to relate to it, rather than saying the rishis, munis, and Ayurveda and my grandfather used it. We say, okay, this is the product, this is what it does, this is how we validated it, and this is the science behind it, and that's why we bring it to the market. So Genco has been fairly successful, and Genco and its sister companies. We have sister companies in Australia, Israel, and other places where we own those companies, but they have their own activity. But together in the pharmaceutical industry, in the healthcare industry, we aim to show that nutraceuticals from India are no less than the pharmaceuticals, and you're going to have equal due diligence, documentation, and science behind it. So like Dr. Smartha mentioned, when you talk about pharmaceuticals, think about India. People need to see that the same due diligence is out there in nutraceuticals. This is what we aim to bring into the market.
Thank you, Mr. Venkatesh. Now I will request Mr. Shama Prasad to really provide his own, let's say, introduction.
Good evening to everybody. This is Sham Prasad, Vidya Herbs. What can I say? Founder, managing director, or whatever. So, Vidya Herbs, I'm a first generation entrepreneur, and I have 2 decades of experience in this business. And then I started from the scratch and then build the business so far, step by step. And then taking all experience and thinking ahead to build the industry into a scientific research based company. And then we are going well in good, intention, and then towards scientific research and application and introducing innovative products into the market.
Thank you. Dr. Jailan Shastri, I would welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Smartha.
Yes.
I'm Dr. Shastri. I'm currently working as a CEO NMPB. I belong to a traditional Ayurveda family. Mine is known 5th generation. And then at the age of about 25, quickly entered into government service, and about 12 years I served for state and central governments before joining industry, and again going back and setting up my own activity, and then coming back about 8 years back. So it's a journey which I wanted to enjoy my way, understanding different aspects. And in my previous organization, I was fortunate to handle end-to-end, virtually end-to-end, like I start with my bioresources and with regulatory, as well as a little touch with medical marketing, not serious. Within that formulations, and I was fortunate to be part of nutraceutical regulations, and presently I am also part of the ongoing Ayurveda related regulations with FSSI, and I'm part of US Herbal Medicine Compendium. I'm part of Ayurveda Pharmacopoeia. As mentioned by some of the speakers earlier, I believed in one thing: if it is science, it should survive; otherwise, it should perish. And before saying that, we should be very careful either to accept or throw away anything, because this is a tradition which has been documented in various forms, which we don't know or which we are ignorant. And knowing is something which is a far beyond concept. Many times we are ignorant and we think it's incorrect. Having said that, I never wanted to leave myself with sentiments. So we have a wonderful team till about 8 months back, right from DNA fingerprinting to all sorts of NMRs we have done. So I'm looking forward for good interaction. Since I'm part of medicinal plants today, my focus will be on medicinal plants, but definitely I'm looking forward for good interaction. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shastri. I think all of you must have seen that what's coming out very clearly, that, as rightly said by Dr. Shastri, if it is based on science, it will grow. If it is not, then it will perish. I think if you look at our panelists, they're also from the science and taking them upward. Right. Thank you, Dr. Shastri. Now let me address to all of you. Basically, I would like to start this entire, let's say, discussion, or I would say discussion in terms of really asking few questions to our panelists today who are available on the panel, by just starting with a small way that I always call it the outside-in process. Outside-in process is from market to really looking at this particular inside part of our world. And that's where our Reimagining India in terms of nutraceuticals or herbal supplements or herbs will be important to really look at. At this moment, if I take the market dynamics, I find almost really we are number 2 in the world in terms of providing herbs and, let's say, herbal medicines or herbal plants. I call nutraceutical also as a, let's say, plant-based, let's say, medicines, plant-based really in nutraceuticals. And from that point of view, we are really number 2 today in terms of really supplying almost, both of us, ourselves and China put together, we're almost controlling 70% of the demand of the market. Now that's the kind of status today we have. Maybe at the ratio of 60-40, 60 China, 40 is us. So I think there's a gap of 20%. Now this 20% gap, how do we really progress further? How do we really take them further is our decision. All of us have to take for India, and so it is Reimagining India. In case of even looking at the specifics, if you find the extracts have added value to this entire business. For this business, if I get the numbers, I think numbers are debatable. Somebody will say something, I will say something. So it is, I won't call it as a data-based, but data-less in terms of really getting you that kind of thought process, that we need to really progress further and get into that gap which is existing at 20%, and added value which we have done by our extracts, which are very clearly distinct and also give a lot of, let's say, weightage. And we also need to have our desired position in the world. For that purpose, extracts are also important. Second thing is that if you look at the imports also, if you look at imports, the imports of these particular nutraceuticals as well as, let's say, herbal medicines or herbs is almost maximum in the US, almost 102.37 billion. Next comes Germany, third comes to Vietnam. And believe me, even China is today importing some sort of raw materials or medicinal herbs from India. So I think we have little created an osmosis, and we need to grow further into this direction. In terms of nutraceuticals, if you look at it, in nutraceuticals, we find we have around 2% of our business, about $8 to $9 billion, growing at very high rate of in terms of 12% or 12.13%. Now here, our exports are little less. This is maybe $250 million at this moment, but there's a big chance to grow because of very simple augmentation of science, augmentation of herbal medicines, augmentation of herbs, and also kind of land which is available to us, which you have seen in the presentation of OmniActive, that it has percolated to the value chain of cultivation. Now, cultivation is equally important from our point of view, from the business point of view. Now, having said this, there is on one hand, as Dr. Shastri said, ignorance. If it is ignorance, then we can't do anything, but we need to really get over that. Look at all our panelists who are really asking this particular aspect of how do we really grow and what's the kind of gap there and how do you do that. Now, I would state few which are edges we have as India. One is pharmacy, obviously. Second is pharmaceutical management, like clinical trials, other things which will provide the quality. Science-based, which is provided for pharmaceutical. Then biodiversity. We have almost 36 hotspots which are nowhere in the world. So we have biodiversity, which is possible for us to really collect different kind of products or herbs. Look at the kind of R&D innovation which is going on, and also the kind of business which is coming up, the owners, and considering the kind of, at the moment, situation we have, looking at what Amit has said about incubation, or wherever I say in SNDT or other universities which I am attached, we find a lot of incubation is going on in terms of nutraceuticals to really make them businessmen or new entrepreneurs, right? So I would like to really start this entire session by asking the first question, having the kind of thought process or the kind of data or the kind of status, Mr. Dheeraj, is it a perceived reality or is it a fact that we are perceived this way, or is it a fact that we would like to really will be able to grow? Yes, Mr. Dheeraj.
Okay, very interesting question, and I think as it said that let food be the medicine and medicine be the food actually. So I mean this was written in 400 BC actually, and as was said that maybe we forgot or we ignored or we don't know with that, but this represents that there has been a great interest in the herbal products since decades actually. This is very deep rooted in our civilization via Ayush actually, if I use that name as a platform with that. And but looking forward, your question that, you know, whether India can take the lead in nutraceutical space. And the question is how and why and what I believe with that. I truly believe that yes, India is in the right spot to take the lead in this particular segment of nutraceutical. But the question comes how and why. I mean, we have a vision. I mean, if we speak and we all are very smart visionary business people. We have Mr. Mariwala on this one. So we have a vision actually, but you know, vision requires action, and that requires an execution with that. Few complementaries which we all know that which exist and which we are inheriting as a country and as an ecosystem. We have availability of raw material, which is unique to India actually, which is very different for other parts of the world with that. We have a manufacturing excellence. We have demonstrated in the pharmaceutical space in generic medicines that we are ranked number 3 actually when it comes to number of in terms of volumes with that. The drive for innovation. I mean, this will perish and die if we don't believe, if we are not able to substantiate with the scientific data and claims. So I mean, that's, I believe that, you know, drive for innovation is there. And I mean, I'm not going to talk about how many patents India is filing versus the rest of the countries with that. But that's something that we definitely, I believe that there is a drive for innovation with that. If we talk about these complementers, you know, additionally, we have a consumption market. I mean, with the size of the population that we have and the per capita spend, which average Indians do on nutraceutical, with a more focus on prevention now, I think we have a huge consumption market with that. And with that demand, actually, definitely the supply has to be adapted accordingly with that. And definitely the cost competitiveness, which is very important element to us compared to with that. I mean, you rightly mentioned that, you know, the data or the market sizing numbers, and those are very debatable. So I don't want to go into that. But whatever you pick up, wherever you speak about it, we are not a dominant player in this space actually. So that's something speaks about it, that there is definitely an upside for us as a country to go up with this one and maybe repeat the success what we saw in the pharmaceutical space with this one. The consumer side, actually, I mean, the awareness is increasing. People are looking more at prevention than prevention with that one, and that's something is also goes with that. One data point which also supports that why I believe that there is a lot of growth that's possible with that. I mean, if you see the last couple of decades, the life expectancy in India have improved. But if you really see that whether the healthy life expectancy have improved or no, I think that you get the answer that no, and this definitely supports in the long run for a sunrise industry, as Madam has said from the university, with that this is a sunrise industry. So there is definitely the complementers, the market, the ecosystem is all there. I think it's all about having a focused execution can take us to the next level in the entire nutraceutical space on a global framework. So that's my reflections and
thank you. I think
views on
Dheeraj,
that.
you rightly said, like Hippocrates said that food without medicine. Similarly, we have a heritage, Low Limbaraj. Low Limbaraj says, Pathe sati gadartasya kim aushadha vishanave. If you are doing right diet, then
Yes.
there is no need of medicine. Apathe sati, even if you don't do a good diet, there is no need of medicine. So I think
Correct.
looking at this kind of combination together, looking at whatever you have said just now, are we ready? Or we need to do a lot of work on this area?
I think one thing I would like to mention also that about some of the pitfalls actually. Generally it happens. You have the right complementers, right framework with that, but we need to be aware of the risk or the mitigations around that. I believe one of the things that it's all about. We need to focus more on scientific data and claims actually, and I truly believe as is was said with that one. Contamination management is also becomes very important. If you are what you are claiming and what you're not delivering, and that you're getting driven by economic agendas with that, or improving the profits and not putting the right ingredients inside the formulation with that, that's something also is going to derail the entire growth momentum and tarnish the image with this one.
Sure. I think let me go to Mr. Venkatesh now. Mr. Venkatesh, I think there are many segments in this industry, right from herbs, let's say herbal plantation, ingredients, let's say plant-based nutraceuticals, formulations, equipments, R&D, technology, etc., etc. So which do you think is a segment where we can really make a very, very difference in the world? Mr. Venkatesh?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Amit,
yes,
for some reason, my video is saying it's blocked. So
we'll have that address, but please, we can hear you.
Yeah,
all right.
sure.
All right. No problem. So the segment where I think we have a good chance and we have the capabilities coming up is actually the extractions part, the herbal extracts, especially with the technologies what we have, with the different types of products what we're capable of making, and the equipment, like you said, what we have today, our R&D capabilities in some of the leading in pharmaceutical, nutraceutical manufacturing company, as well as the capabilities for extraction, standardization, and quality. It world class. A lot of these facilities have even been inspected by US FDA and obtained certification. So that area, today, from what I have seen, is Indian products are a lot more trusted compared to Chinese product, because there is the industry trust that India delivers what it promises. Indian manufacturers have that quality standard and that quality acceptance. Whereas with the Chinese materials today, there is still, till you test it, until you have it independently verified, there are chances that you're going to be not getting what you were supposed to be getting. And that's also due to the transparency in India, and due to the setup, and due to the validation, documentation, traceability from farm to the final product. I do believe that this particular segment has the best opportunity in the short term to go up. I would like to see later formulations and novel delivery technology also to come along with the herbal extract. Formulations are a challenge, because unlike in pharmaceuticals, where you know exactly what product you have to give it, what dose for what indication, a lot of creativity is required, market knowledge is required, and different countries have different focuses. And this being a OTC kind of business, that you need to understand the market well
and the segment where you want to focus well and do the science on it and deliver, which will naturally come as the next step. So this is my feeling.
I agree. Mr. Shamaprasad, how would you really respond to the same question? Because you are also in Ayurvedic and also extracts. So how would you react to this? Is it the same opinion you have, or you have something else?
Yeah, I have the opinion that India can, at this stage, go all out into the nutritional and Nutra business, starting from herbs, manufacturing, extractions, then formulation, then factories, and whatnot. Its platform is there, Make in India platform is there in this government, and then using such platforms, and then extraction is one thing. Herbs cultivation. India is a country with huge natural resources. From the north to the south, from the Himalayas to Kanyakumari, from east to west, like from Gujarat to northeast. Huge cultivations of herbs can be obtained, and then we can be monopoly in some of the herbs which cannot be grown in the world, anywhere in the world, can be grown in India.
Absolutely.
We are masters of like ashwagandha. We are masters cultivation of ashwagandha. Several thousands of tons of ashwagandha is produced in India. And where is psyllium husk, for example, for your where
almost
it is
70% consumption.
Yeah,
70% consumption.
all from Gujarat. So such kind of gold mine is there in India. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the platform which we can develop when extraction is another step. Well, the raw material, the extraction, just supplying extraction will not do. We have to add science to that. We have to validate that, standardize that. We have to do a lot of, put into science and a lot of effort into the standardization and the efficacy and safety studies. We have to see the microtoxicities and the toxin levels, aflatoxins. All these kind of things have to be studied and presented to the customers. And then, see, we are responsible manufacturers, responsible processors of herbs or whatever. And we should stand by the customer that we guarantee the quality for a long time. We stand with the customers for a long time. Not and then coming into factories or anything, we have why factories? Because we have the huge talent. We have a lot of immense talent and intellectuals and young, coming out of fresh graduates, coming out of lot of scientific universities, IITs and IITs and all kind of universities. We have, rich resource of manpower, and give them some training. They will be skillful labor, and then such kind of manpower we should utilize and get the best out of the country for India. Make it too proud as a India.
Sure, absolutely.
That is
so
you believe in India.
You believe in value chain.
We have, and coming into formulation, I'm not expert of it, but formulation, if we can inculcate and indulge of pharmaceutical standards into nutraceuticals, then sky's the limit.
No, I agree with you. So I think you believe in value chain, right from preparation to
If we have to look at as wholesome and then develop as a wholesome, and then we need to provide, the best product, zero defect product to the world. That's all.
Yes. In that case, I think what's critical is looking at everything or looking at extracts or looking at this moment, as Mr. Venkatesh is saying that this will be a good driving engine.
Why extract? Because we have, natural resources you talk about. See, what is our history? What is India's history? It's 5,000 years history. Sure. Ayurveda is our backbone. Ayurveda is our backbone. Yeah. What is our trump card? Ayurveda.
I think the building is constructed of Ayurveda. Absolutely. All the plants. Right. Yes. Thank you. I think I would now go to Mr. Sanjay Mariwala, because whatever we discussed just now, right from, let's say, ingredients to science to everything, I think perhaps Mr. Mariwala, see, like you, are there any success stories in India who can lead it or who can give us a kind of inspiration? Dr. Sami is there, you are there. So I think Majid is there, doctor. Like this, are there people in India whom really we look for, like you, Mr. Sanjay
Absolutely.
Mariwala?
I mean, absolutely. In fact, Dr. Smata, there are lots of people who are doing this kind of work. I think Venkatesh, Shyam Prasad is one, Venkatesh is the other. I think we are all involved in doing it our own way. I think the lessons to be learned from these examples are very simple. I would say each person needs to look at creating his own or her own innovation and developing something unique and different and differentiating your products distinctly. What customers look for is a distinctly different product. Me Too products don't sell. So there's no point in going after what Mr. X is doing. If you also want to do the same thing, it will serve no purpose. I think each one needs to look at the amount, applying science and developing the various facets of a product in terms of what all it can be used for. Turmeric, as we know, is an Indian competitive advantage. So how do we use our competitive advantage well? How do we build on it? That is really what people are doing now in India, and I think that's really where the focus lies. I think that's really the important area of creating a distinct niche for yourself is what each of us should do, and people who have done that are many. There are many examples of such people. Okay, there's natural remedies. Okay, there are so many
Yes.
other companies that are based out of there's Lila Impacts, and I think there are many companies that have done this work wonderfully. And there is KSM Ashwagandha. I think they've done a wonderful job. Again, everybody that has differentiated themselves, built a unique value proposition for the product, built a unique identity, developed marketing capability. I think these are the products that and companies that have done distinctly well. And if you look at what is happening around the world you mentioned about China and India. I think China is our biggest competitor, which is a fact. If you look at the 40 top herbal products that are sold in the United States, for example, India competes in about 10 of them. China competes in 35 of them.
Yes.
There is obviously something happening in China which we need to learn better. Okay. But I think the ones that India competes in clearly lead by size and scale. And the reason is because each of us has implemented something unique and different in each of our products. And we have done significant advantage from India's point of view of taking the pharma sciences, applied those, distinctly made our products better, more stable, more superior, more bioavailable, more acceptable in the what you call regulatory parlance, as well as easily better marketable, and that is what has made these products stronger. I think the same principle is if it's applied to other products, it will work, but we need some unique approach to working together. This is an area where also I think Dr. Shastri is doing a wonderful job of expanding the cultivation, because unless industry gets into the cultivation part of it and gets involved in developing supply chain capability at the grassroots levels, okay, if we don't expand the raw material base, we will never compete long term. To compete long term, we have to have a significantly wide expansion of our raw material base and be the lowest cost and the most efficient producer of raw materials. If we have the raw materials in India, people will set up plants, and those plants will become the competitive source of extracts and finished formulations. And those products can be sold across the world more efficiently and more effectively for us to be able to grow significantly in our size and scope. And such opportunities exist. We have to do a little bit of work on our government. Our government is still not able to understand this. And I think they are pulling in some wrong directions from time to time. But we have great leaders like Dr. Shastri who are doing a wonderful job with the medicinal plant scheme that he has come up with. I think we will be able to. I'm sure we will be able to lead with that kind of initiative and move forward.
I know. In fact, I'm now going to Dr. Shastri only, because I think you are leading me to Dr. Shastri.
Right.
Dr. Shastri, I think what kind of image do we have at this moment in the world about nutraceuticals or herbal, because you are very close to that, and what kind of strategy government is having to really give us a different kind of image or better image in the world? If you can really elaborate on that, maybe we'll be able to know, and also all people who are listening to us as well as with your all panel will be able to know your thought process very clearly, or government thought process from that point of view. Yes, Dr. Shastri.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Smata. As far as the image is concerned, absolutely, there is no second thought. Everybody is looking at us. Okay, and thanks to COVID. We are cursing COVID, but from the industry's perspective, Ayush industry's perspective, I said thanks to COVID. It made people across the globe to realize what Ayurveda is. For example, 2019-20 data, there was an article very recently in US on the herbs which are being sold. Ashwagandha is occupying third or fourth position in the growth with 45.2% increase. Just imagine. All the herbs together. I can share the article with you. Market research is suggesting. And after that, as rightly mentioned by Sanjay ji, KSM and others, I'm carefully monitoring. There is a 3 to 7-8 fold increase in the export orders, and people are finding it difficult to get ashwagandha in the market. The one which was approximately about 150 rupees about 6 months, 7 months back is not available at 510 rupees. Exactly reverse.
True.
Okay. So that's when it comes to management. But let me say one thing. I'm closely following this out of my curiosity. We in India have started realizing that it has some value because Westerns have really enjoying these Ayush related benefits. Rather, I would like to say this. We were ignorant for quite a long time and we used to say Ayurveda has lost its glory and all. Ayurveda never lost its glory. It is as glorious as it was. We were ignorant. To cover up our ignorance, we were saying that Ayurveda has lost its glory. Okay. So here I would like to say one thing to put my point in perspective. There is a opportunity for everyone in this field. There are about 6 different facets of herbs or herbs related healthcare. I want to say it's a healthcare total, not to restrict to drug. As rightly mentioned by somebody, as food as medicine and medicine as food. 2018 December, I was in China on behalf of WHO as a representative from India. The forum was WHO's Food as Medicine Forum. WHO is seriously working because in a particular treatment of diabetes and metabolic disorders and some of the autoimmune conditions, the main treatment is food. So the forum is working seriously on which are all the areas where the food should be declared as a drug. And you are quoting one example, and I can quote another example. Ayurveda said, "Ahara sambhavam vastu rogasya ahara sambhava." So this is what they were saying. So there are 6 facets: herb, an extract, which is intermediate. Then it goes to your traditional medicine product, whether it is Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy, whatever it may be. Then it gets into your Nutra area, all your 8-9 categories. And then your phytopharmaceutical, ultimately the drug, your botanical drugs.
Sure.
So that's the scope what we have. Now, if you are dealing with the herbs, today there is huge vacuum. And that itself is a business. Where if you are looking for botanical drugs, there is a huge vacuum and there is scope. Phytopharmaceuticals, now people are working, and IIM Jammu recently just mentioned that they are coming out with some solutions in very niche areas. So we know why if there is no importance, why industry was keen sitting with FSSA and argued and in the end got schedule 4 for nutraceuticals. We recommended, I was part of it, and today also I am opposing on certain aspects. I have a valid reason. About 213 herbs were recommended and 417 have been added.
They are already correct. They are added there, yeah.
But again, one big mistake what we have done, we have added drugs, hardcore drugs under this list innocently. Why I'm saying this, I want to add one point here. Are we going to kill the golden duck for the eggs? Let us be very careful.
Yeah,
because
sir, in this case, what happens is that the claims become different. One is a mitigating claim of Ayurveda as a drug, and similarly in nutraceutical, it goes at a supplementary or different kind of claim. So the same product or molecule or a particular herb can be not treated by differently or perceived differently. That is a kind of difference.
I was part of this claims team. Again, in India, the problem is not the lawlessness. The problem is implementation. Today, I'll show at least 5-6 good products which are being promoted under nutraceuticals as a treatment for diabetes and for impotency, and these are all doing well. Ever since these nutraceutical regulations have come up, I can share it. I've shared it with the FSSI, and they were speechless. And they said, Dr. Shastri, you are right, and they're rectifying it also. The problem is the moment you bring it into the ingredients like Sauceria lepa, we don't have a food use for that. Encyclus pyrethrum, we don't have a food use for that. So now we are filtering it. So with this, what we will do, like I always mention, nutraceuticals in the international context and nutraceuticals in Indian context, we have a huge difference. We have to understand. In India, already your traditional systems were occupying this, whether we want, we don't want. There is a category called Ayurveda Palya Poshak under Rule 158B of Drugs and Cosmetics Act, where this provision is created. And at that time, when I was opposing on behalf of Ayush industry, Bakshi, the advisor, he rather convinced me for one reason that drugs should be in the drug section, food should be in the food section. I readily accepted. But only thing, the list now needs to be rectified. That is the only limited point I have. Otherwise, yes, world over, there is a recognition for Ayush systems. And after traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda is recognized as traditional medicine. Let us remember this. WHO status report 2005, given the status, and let us work on this. TCM and Ayurveda are the only two systems in the world which have been categorized under traditional medicine, that is, which is having some philosophy and line of treatment, which are different from complementary alternative medicine. So Chinese have really enjoyed, and they're enjoying because of their sincere effort in a focused manner. And the gap between India and China, though we are 1 and 2, is about roughly 40% plus. That's the opportunity. Sure. That means really there is.
No, but in that case, sir, what government is doing at this moment to really take any steps in that direction to really ensure that our presence is there? Like as you said rightly, TCM and Ayurveda, these are the two maybe different kind of platforms available.
Wonderful. So in India, anyway, we don't have problem, and we have Ayurveda or Ayush category prevailing. And looking at international scenario, about 7 to 8 different categories. If it is Canada, you have NHP registration. If it is US, you have DSHA. If it is Australia, one regulation. If you Europe, you have THMPD. If it is Gulf, you have something else. So what we are trying to do now, the requirement for the exports, the first thing is the source document, which is missing in most of the cases. Therefore, our exports are hampered. So yesterday, as rightly mentioned by Mr. Sanjay Mariwala, we have created a platform, and we have created, going to create a history where all the industry partners who are federations who are using herbs as their base, irrespective of whether they belong to medicine or whatever. Let us look at Gloriosa superba. Today, we ignore it. I mentioned it to one of our additional secretaries 10 days back when there was a discussion, surprised. Gloriosa superba, though it was there in Ayurveda formulary, it is mainly used for colchicine. Same as forskolin from Coleus. There are many examples, even Garcinia. So there should be no limit. So if we can really look from that point of view, we have huge scope. Only thing we should get focused. So now we have created a platform, creating the source document, and then your exports will increase. Second thing, what we have done, the HS code committee now is somewhere in the final stages. The 8-digit HS code today is another problem in documenting what is being imported or exported, because roots are categorized on one category, barks under one category. Now you will see about at least top 60 herbs. You see only the psyllium, ashwagandha, your senna, and those kind of things only. Now we are creating about 60 herbs will now have by name and what used in the HS code very soon. And we worked with the Department of Commerce, and FITM is really helpful in this process. And this will give actually the transparency required, which was missing. Whether you are sending it in 21, 40, 30, nobody knows. So today, that's another unorganized activity which is now getting a shape, and this is one measure. And then the standards. As rightly mentioned, API, I'm part of API. We are trying to come into a dynamic kind of upgradation of standards and publication of soft copies of the API standards. And we are also working on convergence with other pharmacopoeia. So a lot of things are happening.
Sure. So I think coming to kind of understanding you, Dr. Shastri, that we find that there's a market there very much, as you said, 40%, we really have to bridge the gap. Similarly, what on one hand, we have successful, let's say, companies like OmniActive, the Dr. Sami's, etc., or also our Sham Prasad's organization. Now, having said this, what is that, Mr. Dheeraj, do you think a missing link here? Dheeraj?
I think, as I see it, that, we are living in a VUCA world, actually. So volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. And if I link that with our Nutra segment, actually, I think if we convert that and position that for our nutraceutical segment, linking with Q, that the quest or the question. So if the Q for this, in this case, stands for quality, and we, instead of volatility, I will say that what value add we are bringing. And if you talk about U, which is for uncertainty, I will say that, which Sanjay Mariwala ji was saying, that uniqueness. And that's very important, what uniqueness or innovation we are bringing on the platform with that. And when we talked about complexity, I mean, complexity, sometimes, you create confusion with that. And that's where, you can bring the consumption to be driven with that, and ambiguity. And there I will say that, authenticity, which is about the claims, actually, I mean, supported by the data points, actually, supported by the commitments that, if you pick up a product made in India, you are proud that you are sure that what is being with this one. So I say that this is something, if you're able to link that up, I think this VUCA world can convert into a lot of opportunity. We are already seeing that COVID-19, I mean, we are all crying about it, but COVID has created a lot of immense opportunities for this nutraceutical segment for us. And we are seeing in India also, the consumption is increasing. There are a lot of export demands with that. So that, I believe that if you're able to link that up, I believe this VUCA is a great opportunity for us for Nutra industry.
I think I agree with you, and nicely, Dheeraj, I must thank you for bringing up VUCA word and linking it up with the kind of links which we have at the moment. I think it's a beautiful thing. Mr. Venkatesh, yes, considering this kind of uniqueness Mr. Mariwala is saying, is there any other uniqueness you see in nutraceuticals where we are offering to the world besides quality, besides the uniqueness? Anything else you would like to say in terms of really missing link?
It's about targeted applications. Today, what we need to go out there and not just say is that, okay, I have ashwagandha, or I have coleus, or I have this, and I have traceability, I have manufacturing is one part. What you need to go and show to the market is that, why are you better? What are you focusing on? Because the consumer, today the marketing is so focused in the Western world, especially in US and Europe, is that they are looking for solutions. You got to go to them with a solution. You got to do the science. You got to target it at a particular end application, which gives you a particular therapeutic benefit, and just go and say that my product quality is taken for granted, but this is the science, like Dr. Mariwala said, like this is the science to show that what we have done, what is this efficacious dosage, what is the clinical data behind it, what are the safety studies done, what is the data behind it, are you able to get a GRAS status in US, or if it is a new product you plan for a novel food in EU or for TGA, then go to them and say, my product is unique because with my extraction technology or with my delivery system, this is what is the functional benefit that comes to you, and this is how it's clinically trialed, and here it's peer-reviewed and published in a good journal. And go beyond that, go tell them that for what solution you can use for. With most of our customers, we look at them, our innovation comes from the customers. We ask them, what do you want? What segment do you want? What are you looking to? What are the market trends? So we ask the customers, we look at the market trend, we design solutions for them. We don't sell a product. We become a partner for them in providing a solution and giving advice to them as to how this will benefit their brand. And we brand our ingredients with this unique science and with unique delivery system and go make sure that like Acer sells a computer with Intel Inside, my customer will be selling his product with his brand saying that contains hydrocoke or contains levagen or contains limonene, clinically studied with this. So what we are providing in the market today, which is one of the reasons why we've been able to establish ourselves, is a solution to the customer. We don't sell a product. I believe that if that is adopted by the industry, each one of you position it.
That mindset needs to change from product to solution.
Yeah, because when you start selling a product, sir, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you're talking price. When you're talking about a solution, what you're doing is that you're on the customer side now. Okay, you have to move past selling to purchase managers on price, and you got to move into product development and marketing people to sell a solution and saying that at this cost, this will be your per unit cost for your month supply. This is the multiplier you'll get, and this is the margins you can get. So that's the language they like.
Sure, and also, I like Dheeraj is tied up with the hookah world. When I was discussing with you, you also thought that suppose there is a kapha vata pitta is there, how do you really rethink in terms of conceptually this nutraceutical industry could be or is, or maybe it will give new products to the industry?
Sorry, I lost the last part.
I said when we're discussing, you're talking about kapha vata pitta is perhaps the foundation of Ayurveda. So what do you think in consideration in nutraceutical? Your thinking, because your thinking is very different. So from that point of view, all of us will get perhaps kind of ideas to really put products in those systems.
Okay. See, what we take is that the message what the nutraceutical industry should be taking in my opinion, is, which is what we take, saying that there is a place for pharmaceuticals and medicine. There is a place for maintaining good health. Okay. What we are saying is that nutraceuticals should be targeted at lifestyle management areas. Disease areas need medicine. But in the last 30 years, if you've seen a lot of the, I come from the pharma industry, I'm saying that most of the pharmaceuticals are designed today that you take it once, you're going to take it for life, and they are the ones which are being pushed and marketed the highest, like areas. In 1994, the world's single largest selling segment of pharmaceuticals was antibiotics. Then it was anti-cancer. Then it was osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis. And then it was tuberculosis, areas which were of concern. Fast forward 20 years later, single largest selling segment is anti-cholesterol, then antidepressant, then hypertension, then diabetes. And that to type 2 diabetes, adult onset. What's the difference? 94, you took a treatment which helped you to attack or cure a disease which came from outside the body, which was beyond your control. It was an infection. In 2020, what you're doing is that you're taking a medicine daily to offset your lifestyle. So these are lifestyle-oriented areas, and taking a potent medicine for managing lifestyle-related ailments like cholesterol or even blood pressure or depression. You've seen from 1999 to 2019, the rate of withdrawal of drugs in this particular range has been one of the highest. Diabetes, cholesterol, and hypertension, a lot of the antidepressant areas. Now, go with the solution now. Think that here's something which is part of food, which your body knows how to assimilate, how to metabolize, and it gives you a benefit. It can control your lipids, it can control your sugar, it can control your blood pressure like ashwagandha does, and then it can also make you calm. So take that message saying that food, use the food-based nutraceutical to manage your lifestyle. Use the medicines only to manage your disease. If we can, that differentiating message is what we need to take to the market.
Mr. Shamprasad, how
Yeah,
would
I'm just responding to the Vata Pitta Kapha triangle. So in nutraceutical industry, it is like nervous system, immune system, and the endocrine system. It's a triangle. So all this Vata Pitta Kapha, it is indirectly related to this triangle, what I'm talking about. So the nervous system and the immune system and the endocrine system. Okay, this is a triangle. Like in Chinese compo medicine, they have like a blood and the water and what is that? Blood circulation. So they have the triangle. So we have the triangle too in Ayurveda. And Nutra also, we should have a triangle and progress on such, foundation.
So I think that what we go towards WHO principle in terms of mind, soul, and body.
Yes,
That's
yes,
the kind
yes,
of thing.
yes.
So because of
Yes,
this angle, what you feel
yes.
that we can really proceed toward that. Right?
Yes.
Dr. Shastri, is there any burden is going to come the way we had good disruption, I would say, of COVID? I would say good disruption. Also, we have a kind of diversity. But is there any diversity burden is likely to come because of the Biodiversity Act, Dr. Shastri?
Yeah, see, it is already there. If you look at, I developed the data, and I'll be showing it very soon on an official platform also. If we carefully look at Indian industry, the usage of herbs, the volume herbs, is increasing year on year. Increase is about 6 to 8%. Okay. Now going forward, if you calculate, you will come to know next 5 years what will be the increase. Just you require in 25, you require about 30 to 40%. Is the country prepared? That's exactly what I started doing when I given this recent what you call a project. You might have heard in the media when the government also announced it. About 10 lakh hectares is something what I am planning for a span of 3 years.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Because of the deficiency. Now, there is an interesting factor in India. The biomass is replaced with biomass. That's the biggest problem and challenge for the industry. See, no trader will tell you it doesn't have one particularly. I'll give one example of Shalparni and Krishnapani. Ask any Ayurveda company, they say, we don't have any information. There is no deficiency. We are getting these supplies. There is no shortage. But when you pick up 100 bags, 90 bags, you find some other leaf. Either it's the Pseudoarthia viscida or the other species of Desmodium. Okay. Now, the same thing happens in some of the barks. So what I want to say, there are several herbs which may have similarity because of the chemotaxonomy. So these traders are better than the scientists in many places. So as we all say, adulteration requires a lot of effort. Okay. Hackers have more knowledge than our software engineers. They get money. Let us understand this happens everywhere. So if you really want to come out of it, the source document, that's exactly what we are trying to do. Streamline already I've given the proposal yesterday when the discussion was happening, I could not mention it. Have some voluntary registration for the herb sellers. Have some voluntary registration for those extractors. Today, under Rule 158B of Drugs and Cosmetics Act, I'm mentioning about extracts under this 3H category. But I have not created any specific scope for them for registration and all. That's exactly what we are planning to streamline. The second thing is, these herb sellers should also have some registration. Okay. Then actually you can control this market. Otherwise it remains what you call unorganized. And the toughest challenge, ask anybody who is dealing, maybe Shyam Prasad will be one of the best people to tell you. If you purchase, for example, picoryza, because I've corrected the picoryza document for the monograph for US Pharmacopoeia. I found picoryza tunganathe, which is reported in 1954 by Chopra, is prevailing in Indian market, and we never did DNA. When we did the DNA, initially even Q did not agree with us. We published it from Botanical Survey of India in Nelambo before last year, and we submitted it to USP. USP accepted, and it's virtual reality that India was using 2 species of picoryza as Kutikrohini. Now, leaf 52, definitely I can mention it because one of the leading herbal product in the Indian market last 40 years. So you can definitely have 50 years now.
Sure.
Now, there the main ingredient is picoryza. And what species was used? Question mark, because we have not done the DNA sequencing.
Yes.
Okay, so this is exactly what it was. And the picorycides are more in Tunganathe. maybe cautiously you may be separating a good variety because you never looked into nature. And this is happening with many other species. Like I'll give another example of Operculina tripatam, which is called Kalanishod in Hindi and Trivruth in Ayurveda, considered one of the best laxatives. I've introduced in the market in my previous organization, is the only product in the market. There, if you select the product from any part of the country, it will not show laxative property. You have to collect it from a specific belt of Gujarat, and that germplasm is only resulting in laxative property. We have identified about 500, 600 farmers have been trained. QPM is being given to them and is under cultivation. And therefore, this particular source is only laxative. Now, likewise, there are so many diversities which need to be addressed. So we are working on this. We have signed MOU with
I
NBPGR.
think we welcome that kind of thing. I think we need to do that. Otherwise, the burden will really take us away from our basic goal. Yeah.
And that's why, please remember one thing. I want to say this. I said this on many fora. Nature is Ayurveda friendly. Ayurveda is not nature friendly.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
We have to take care of it. The sentiment doesn't work. We should sincerely work, and that's why I've chosen this particular job for this reason, that we have to give a way to this country.
Yes.
By I've identified 58 species. My next 3 years, I will focus on 58 species, and your 90% business is between these 58 species. Though we talk about 42 high volume species, only 58 species, and they're all falling into either your UN category or your CITES category or your RET list. So if the RET species are not threat, they are the opportunity. Many times we say threatened species. I said this is opportunity species. You can cultivate and make money and give economy to this country. We should have a different perspective.
Yeah. Similarly, what's happening in ethnopharma, they're taking one hub, right? Sporia, cardifolia, and they're doing all over the world the same one species. So in that case, can we really think about few species from the biodiversity point of view, which can really propel us in Indian industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give one example. Like this can come from Northeast. This is what we are working. There are Astaberg, like your Maxalis and Habaneria. These are potential nutrient ingredients. They are high volume, high value products. And the germplasm is available in Northeast. Northeast requires livelihood and upliftment. So we are focused on Northeast is one region in this country which MOEF could declare, Minister of Agriculture, Forest Welfare, Farmer Welfare could declare as organic. So let us start from there. Now the 8 species to 20 species, if you focus, it gives money to them, it gives money to the industry, and it gives health to the human being.
Sure, I think that's a very remarkable thing. Now, in this case, considering this, Mr. Sanjay Mariwala, that will it help as suppose nutraceutical industry as such come under, let's say, health ministry, or will it really divide us? Will it really help us? How do you see that really recognizing this industry further?
I think it's an excellent question that we need to come up with.
Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes, I am. Am I audible? Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Now I can hear. Okay. Now we can hear.
Yeah, so sorry about that. I believe that this is an excellent question. It's not necessary that we have to have a particular ministry or the other looking after us, but yes, it's necessary to recognize that in the long run, there is a need to have a ministry look after us, the nutraceutical industry. First of all, we need to recognize the nutraceutical industry. Today, it's not even recognized as an industry. It is an assimilation of some of us coming together under a banner and trying to get moving somewhere. I think the important thing here is to create a desk or a clear focus within any ministry that can help us, channelize our voice to the government most effectively. I think that's a requirement, whether it be health, whether it would be commerce, whether it would be Ayush, whether it would be the food processing, is not the relevant point. The point is there needs to be one particular ministry that needs to take the initiative and giving us the recognition that is necessary. That's what I would highly recommend is the highest priority. And what is required is a ministry that has the time and attention to be able to give to us.
True, true, true. We can really look for that. Dheeraj, I would like to ask you, Mr. Dheeraj, that okay, what kind of positioning would you suggest now, looking at the kind of dialogue and the discussions which we had for the consumers, which will really attract the kind of consumers all over the world? Any positioning, the way you have excellent way of explaining by hookah world, what kind of age we have? Is there any thought you have from this point of view?
I will start first with a reflection what Dr. Shastri said, that nature is Ayurveda, but Ayurveda is not nature friendly with that. Having said that, since I worked across the globe with that one, so one of the similar challenge with the industry was facing in the chemicals, and they came back with the norm around REACH, which is around all registration, evaluation, authorization, restriction of chemicals. And that's something is very important, that we should reflect that if we really want this nutraceutical industry to be sustainable, we need our mother earth to survive. And that's very important, that we should, I think, and I believe Dr. Shastri is thinking on those lines when I hear with that one. I believe that when we are working together in the industry, that can take away a lot of cost also from our this one, but that collaboration can help us to create a more sustainable business in the industry in the longer run. So that's something, sparked me when Dr. Shastri was saying that that's something is very important. Otherwise, shouldn't happen that we focus in terms of drive for uniqueness. We should not start impacting our biodiversity, that we are at a crisis or at the stage of destruction with this one. So that's something that, just as a reflection what Dr. Shastri said with that one. I think in terms of positioning, I still believe it's the same, that I believe that India, is seen as a solution provider, which Venkatesh was also saying with that, because that's very important, because we are not talking about cost, actually we're bringing a value, actually. So we are addressing the explicit and implied need of the consumer, actually, and that's something that is very important. So when it diseases, focus to pharma, but I think if you don't want to go in the zone of diseases, then I think continue with the nutraceutical with that. And I still will say that the same buka applies, because we are bringing a value, we bring a uniqueness in terms of platform, we bring the consumption with that, and authenticity. That's very important, because I think if we are just going out in the market without any scientific data, without any claims with that, I think it's going to hold for some time, but it's going to destroy the credibility in mid to long term.
Absolutely. Now, considering that, Dr. Shastri, if we have so many parks in India, this park, pharma park, this park, that park, so do you think such parks have worked to really establish the industry, or really taking the industry upward, or the conceptual framework which we are now having in this team has to be there and then the park will work? Dr.
Yes,
Shastri?
definitely. Actually, people have not realized as they worked. Today, we may have depletion of volumes, but we are not deficient. Many times, decolopist people say, or hemidesmus, and maybe inla, so many species. But still the germplasm is available, because we have sufficient medicinal plant repositories. So rather not repositories, I would like to call it as conservation areas. Let me tell you, right now under our belt, out of 108, we have sponsored 105 medicinal plant conservation and development, MPCDS, that's what we call it as, and covering about 700 species, 21,122.10 hectares. Okay, 21,122.10 hectares of conservation medicinal plants area in this country available, and 105 spots altogether. And we are trying to provide the geolocationing very soon on our website. We are working with ISRO on that. And that's the good news for the industry. Second thing, as I mentioned, when Ms. Dheeraj was mentioning, yes, this is the point I want to say. That's why I mentioned it is not natural friendly. That's why I started first cultivation, because that's the immediate measure what we have to take. And second thing, in that I've introduced another sentiment. The threatened species are opportunity. They are not threat. Let us say this. Why we look at the negative part? Always, as in the industry, I was trying to talk about only solution. My CEO used to say, if it's a problem, live with it now. If you don't have solution, don't come to me. If you have solution, implement it. So both times you will not come to me. So that's a wonderful experience. So today, this is the best solution. Farmers gets livelihood. Today, the project which you will very soon will get the complete picture. We are going to now today, biodiversity authorities. I want to be on record because I've written in this fashion. I said industry is not destroying. Middlemen are destroying, and you are punishing the industry. Now the tribe who is selling it at a throwaway price in an illegal route, he is being awarded with a lot of avenues and what you call schemes. Failing system, I don't want to name the officers, system in the process, who are giving the TPs, are letting the material off, are getting promotions in increments. The third level, who have brought it in illegal way and selling it in your vicinity of cities in the form of mandis, they are getting double income because they give 40, and recent this 2019-20 data suggests that farmers or tribes get only 35 rupees out of 100 rupees on a raw material. I was thinking 40 rupees when I was in industry, but it's 35 rupees is official. I have the data I can share. This official report. So this 30 rupees is selling 100 rupees to the industry. Now people who have struggled hard to study the business aspects and so many things, when they come to industry, all of a sudden there is a criminal notice under a non-bailable section of Biodiversity Act, for which you are not responsible. I asked them one question. Under 302, the person who used the knife and killed somebody will be hanged unto death, that's fine. Who supplied knife will be imprisoned for lifetime. And then who had given the idea will be put in behind the bars for 7 years, 10 years, depending on the seriousness. Now here, the person who is just witness and informed to the police is hanged unto death, and rest of them are living merrily. What is the kind of law of natural justice you quote under section 21 of Biodiversity Act? This I've asked and officially have written to them. I am shameless. I have written them and there is no reply. The debate is going on, but we have to respect the law again. To respect that, what we need to do, let us cultivate our own products, the raw material, and then end the controversy. The real requirement is even tree species. Now you will see soon the agroforestry model with our NMPB also. So instead of 3 into 4 meters or something like 3 into 3 meters, give more distance, allow those species which can grow under canopy. And I'll give one interesting observation. People only grow ashwagandha in fields, but ashwagandha grown in canopy has shown better methanolides. Okay, so it's value addition. So we should have, like rightly mentioned by others,
like a chain, yeah. Now considering this, I think, yeah, like looking at what we just now discussed, all of us, what is your, as from government point of view, what do you think is the most important priority to really ensure that the industry grows, both herbal as well as nutraceutical? Same like cultivation onwards or anything else?
For me, medicine plant, as I told you, and I want to record, I am going to represent the medicinal plants. Plants having medicinal value or health benefits. Again, let me tell you, very simple. And in the upcoming, what you call modifications of our existing regulations, I mentioned species which are not there in the list, priority list, will also be given only, we will take it to the technical screening committee and we'll approve. Earlier, that was not there and we are introducing it, and already the process is in the final stages. Let me say this. Then, plant is plant. Whoever is using, let them use. And the first and last priority will be quality raw material with a sustainable practice. Today, no plant part is sustainable. Let me say this. If you are plucking flower, how do you get the seeds? If you are using the fruit, how do you get the seeds? If you are using the seed and taking out the oil or something else, how do you get the next plant? If you are peeling off the bark, how do you allow this plant to survive without infection? If you take away the leaves, where from you get the photosynthesis and proper chemical constituents, no plant part is sustainable. You should have practices, how much percentage to be plucked. We should be very careful. That's why we've introduced good collection practices and package of practices with the help of Quality Council of India. About 17 we developed, and some modules for training both the tribals and the farmers separately. So a lot of activities there, and we need industry support. This is the only thing. See,
we need your support, both.
Yeah, sir, I will make one particular point. When it comes to healthcare, let us remember one thing. Quality is business. If a particular herb, which is used for a simple stomach pain, like your mentha, if it is not giving relief, the consumer will never come back to you. So your business is relief.
Sure.
So therefore, quality is automatically part of it, and that's what we have to ensure. Thank you.
Mr. Sanjay Bariwala, if we need to really make our own, let's say, presence and get the deserving position in US, Germany, and bigger market, what do you see? What do you say is our number one or 1 to 2 priorities we should have as industry?
Really, number one priority is what Dr. Shastri was talking about, which is what I'm talking about. Grow your own materials, be very self-sufficient in them, have the best quality of raw materials, and have excellent processing and quality standards in your plants. Once you have that, everything else is the next phase, which you can learn very quickly. Marketing is a simple science. It's not going to take work. Okay, what is really going to take work is the extension in the field, being able to invest time and money into it, and establishing your quality standards from the ground up, and having production in large volumes which are sustainable crops.
Scalability is also equally important.
Something that rewards the farmer and gives you material at an affordable cost, and so that you can go out and compete in the world. This is what is the must requirement.
It's a win-win situation for all stakeholders.
Absolutely. It's a win for everybody in the chain.
Yeah. And Mr. Shamprasad, what do you say if I ask you which are 1 or 2 specific, let's say, priorities you feel we should have?
We should be customer focused, and what customer wants, we have to deliver, and we have to match their specification, what they want. And we should not be like, we have this product, you buy, it doesn't work. What they want, we have to deliver the specification, the quality, what they hope, and what kind of solubility, if they want to apply in beverage, or if they want to put as a food supplement, fit it into capsule. We have to deliver what the customer wants. That is where the business will expand. Matching the specification, what I call. If you are there to match the specification, what the customer wants in a unique fashion and what they hope for, then there is a business, and the business will grow.
Right. So we talked about consistency.
And the quality should be first objective. Quality, quality should be first.
So I think first we talked about consistency in terms of scalability, all that. And you talked about the quality, and the quality to be delivered to the customer at that level.
Yes.
Venkatesh, Mr. Venkatesh, what do you say? 1 or 2 priorities, if you feel, looking at our discussion today?
Okay. Taking into account what Dr. Mariwala said and what Mr. Shamprasad said, yeah, let's take it for granted that we have the best quality, and we do the right practices, and we develop the right product. But I come back to my pet theme. The focus has to be in what are you going to deliver?
Sure.
What are you going to deliver to the market? What would a European market require? What would a US market require? What would a Japanese market require? What would a Australian, New Zealand, or Asia Pacific market require? So to me, I come down straight to saying that I take the quality and the sustainability and the value chain for granted. But the right science is the driver. Clinical studies today have come to stay. And many regulatory authorities, in fact, nowadays ask for multiple clinical studies also. So it's about validating your claim, structuring your claims, and delivering the solution. I come back.
And also customize to the country.
Customized for the country and for the customer, because again, the needs of each market is different. For example, in Europe, some of our products, when we take in, effervescent tablets are a big hit. A lot of them use it. In US, nobody wants an effervescent tablet. Asia Pacific, effervescent tablets are big. So similarly, each market has its own idiosyncrasies, to understand the global market in terms of what does the market need, how am I going to tailor make something, just not only as an ingredient, but as a solution to that market and to the customer in that market. So that's where the focus needs to be, which means an understanding that you can't have a one-size-fits-all strategy to put product into the market. You should have different strategies for different markets, backed by solid science, and of course, taking for granted the quality and sustainability.
Yes, Mr. Dheeraj, how would you like to, let's say, close it so that we can really thank all of you? I can thank all of you. Yes, Mr. Dheeraj.
Yeah, I think what Venkatesh said, I fully agree, because quality is something, a pre-qualifier or license to operate for any business. So that's something is for granted, and other points that, the supply chain piece that has been said with that. I strongly believe that, continued focus on new product development and validation of claims with scientific science behind that. So we should be able to validate the efficacy of the ingredients. Actually, that's the key with that. And if you asked a question about positioning, and you asked a question about that, if India, nutraceutical industry, India itself speaks about it. I mean, if you use India as an acronym, actually, I mean, I stands for India with that, new for nutraceutical, actually, and then India nutraceutical brings differentiation and innovation via authenticity, and that's something that we could I see that could help us position and move with that. But I think scientific proofs actually is a key.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Dheeraj. Thank you, Venkatesh. Thank you, Mr. Shyam Prasad. Thank you, Mr. Mariwala. And thank you very much, Dr. D.L. Prakash. Thank you very much. Dr. Balkumar, to you now. Amit, to you.